Hello, fellow seekers of wisdom and growth. Welcome back to Inkwell Insights, the channel dedicated to illuminating the path to a richer, more fulfilling life, one book at a time. We delve into the heart of stories, searching for the kernels of truth that can nourish our souls and guide us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Have you ever felt the weight of history bearing down on you, shaping your present and clouding your future? Have you ever loved with a ferocity that consumed you, both exhilarating and terrifying? Have you ever clung to hope in the face of overwhelming adversity, wondering if resilience alone is enough? Have you ever compromised your values for survival, questioning the true cost of pragmatism? Have you ever built an empire on ambition, only to find yourself standing alone at its peak? Have you ever yearned for a simpler time, a romanticized past that may never have truly existed? These are the questions that simmer beneath the surface of today's exploration, questions that resonate across generations and speak to the enduring human spirit. Today, we're embarking on a journey into the sweeping, unforgettable world of Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind. This isn't just a historical romance, it's a profound exploration of survival, resilience, and the complex tapestry of human relationships against the backdrop of a nation torn apart. Gone with the Wind is a towering literary achievement, a sprawling epic that captures the tumultuous transition of the American South. But beyond the grand scope of the Civil War and Reconstruction, it delves into the intimate struggles of its characters, particularly the indomitable Scarlett O'Hara. Mitchell's unflinching portrayal of Scarlett, a woman driven by fierce determination and a ruthless pragmatism, challenges our traditional notions of heroism and forces us to confront the uncomfortable truths about ambition, love, and the price of survival. It's a story that lingers in the mind long after the final page is turned, prompting us to examine our own values and the choices we make in the face of adversity. So, let's delve into this classic and see what wisdom we can unearth. The central concept at the heart of Gone with the Wind is arguably resilience. Not simply the ability to bounce back from adversity, but a deeper, more complex force that encompasses adaptability, resourcefulness, and an unwavering will to survive. In our modern world, where instant gratification and comfort are often prioritized, the raw, unyielding resilience displayed in Mitchell's novel can seem almost foreign. We live in a society that often shies away from hardship, preferring to medicate pain and avoid discomfort. Yet, true growth, true strength, often emerges from the crucible of adversity. Think about the entrepreneur who pours their heart and soul into a business, only to face crippling setbacks. Perhaps they lose funding, encounter unexpected competition, or simply misjudge the market. Instead of giving up, they dust themselves off, learn from their mistakes, and pivot, often emerging stronger and more innovative than before. That's resilience in action. Consider the refugee fleeing war and persecution, leaving behind everything they know and love to seek safety and a new life in a foreign land. The courage and determination required to navigate unfamiliar cultures, languages, and systems to rebuild a life from scratch is a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Or think of the individual battling a chronic illness, facing daily challenges and limitations that most of us can barely imagine. Yet, they persevere, finding joy and meaning in life despite their physical struggles. Their resilience is an inspiration to us all. Even in smaller, everyday situations, resilience is essential. The student who fails an exam but uses it as an opportunity to learn and improve. The athlete who suffers a setback but trains harder and comes back stronger. The artist who faces rejection but continues to create, fueled by their passion and belief in their vision. And what about the single parent, juggling work, childcare, and countless other responsibilities, striving to provide a loving and stable home for their children despite facing immense challenges? Their resilience is a quiet, unwavering force that shapes the lives of the next generation. These examples, both grand and commonplace, highlight the importance of resilience in navigating the complexities of modern life. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, so eloquently stated, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." This power of choice, this ability to find meaning even in the face of unimaginable suffering, is the essence of resilience. It's the driving force that propels us forward when everything seems lost, the unwavering belief that even in the darkest of times, hope remains. Now, let's turn to Gone with the Wind itself and explore how Margaret Mitchell weaves this theme of resilience into the very fabric of her narrative. The story centers around Scarlett O'Hara, a captivating and fiercely independent young woman living on the sprawling plantation of Tara in pre-Civil War Georgia. Scarlett is a creature of privilege, accustomed to a life of ease and luxury. But beneath her charming exterior lies a steely determination that will be tested time and again. The Civil War shatters Scarlett's idyllic world, stripping her of her wealth, security, and social standing. Tara, once a symbol of her privileged existence, becomes a battleground, and Scarlett is forced to confront the harsh realities of survival. She loses her mother, her home is ravaged, and she is left with the responsibility of caring for her family and the remaining slaves. It is in this crucible of adversity that Scarlett's true character emerges. She sheds her frivolous facade and embraces a ruthless pragmatism. She vows never to be hungry again and dedicates herself to rebuilding Tara, no matter the cost. She works tirelessly in the fields, defies social conventions, and makes difficult, often morally questionable, choices to ensure her survival and the survival of her loved ones. Mitchell doesn't romanticize Scarlett's resilience. She portrays her flaws, her selfishness, and her occasional cruelty with unflinching honesty. Scarlett is not a perfect heroine, but she is undeniably a survivor. She embodies the raw, primal instinct to persevere, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable odds. The key to understanding Scarlett's resilience lies in her unwavering focus on her goals. She is driven by a fierce determination to protect Tara and provide for her family. This single-minded focus allows her to overcome obstacles that would crush lesser individuals. She is adaptable, resourceful, and willing to do whatever it takes to achieve her objectives. One crucial aspect of Scarlett's character is her pragmatic approach to relationships. While she is capable of love and loyalty, she is also willing to manipulate and exploit others to achieve her goals. Her relationship with Rhett Butler, the cynical and charming blockade runner, is a complex and tumultuous dance of love, lust, and mutual respect. Rhett admires Scarlett's resilience and strength, but he also recognizes her flaws and her inability to truly connect with others. The book presents several key ideas that underpin Scarlett's brand of resilience, ideas that we can analyze and adapt to our own lives, while being mindful of the ethical considerations that Scarlett often disregards. Let's examine 3 of these core pillars. 1. Unwavering focus on a tangible goal. Scarlett's resilience is inextricably linked to her unwavering focus on Tara. Tara is not just a plantation, it is a symbol of her past, her identity, and her future. It is the anchor that grounds her amidst the chaos and uncertainty of the war and Reconstruction. She vows never to lose Tara, and this vow fuels her every action. In our own lives, we can cultivate a similar focus by identifying a tangible goal that is deeply meaningful to us. This goal could be anything from building a successful career to raising a family to making a positive impact on the world. The key is to choose a goal that resonates with our values and passions, something that will inspire us to persevere even when faced with challenges. Imagine a student struggling with their studies. They feel overwhelmed, discouraged, and tempted to give up. But then they remind themselves of their ultimate goal, to graduate and pursue a career they are passionate about. This goal provides them with the motivation to keep going, to overcome obstacles, and to achieve their dreams. Or consider an artist who faces constant rejection from galleries and critics. They feel discouraged and doubt their talent. But then they remember their passion for creating art, their desire to express themselves and share their vision with the world. This passion fuels their creativity and inspires them to keep painting, sculpting, or writing, despite the setbacks. 2. Adaptability and resourcefulness. The Civil War forces Scarlett to adapt to a completely new reality. She learns to work in the fields, manage a business, and navigate the treacherous political landscape of Reconstruction. She is resourceful, finding creative solutions to problems and making the most of limited resources. This adaptability is crucial for navigating the ever-changing landscape of modern life. We live in a world of constant technological advancements, economic shifts, and social changes. To thrive in this environment, we must be willing to learn new skills, embrace new ideas, and adapt to new circumstances. Consider the employee whose job is automated by technology. Instead of resisting the change, they embrace it as an opportunity to learn new skills and transition to a new role within the company. They take online courses, attend workshops, and network with colleagues to prepare themselves for the future of work. Or think of the entrepreneur who launches a new product but discovers that it is not selling as well as expected. Instead of stubbornly sticking to their original plan, they adapt their marketing strategy, refine their product based on customer feedback, and explore new distribution channels. 3. A willingness to make difficult choices. Scarlett is not afraid to make difficult choices, even if they are morally ambiguous. She prioritizes her survival and the survival of her family above all else. She is willing to lie, cheat, and even steal to achieve her goals. While we may not condone Scarlett's more questionable actions, we can learn from her willingness to make tough decisions. Life often presents us with difficult choices, where there are no easy answers and where every option has its drawbacks. In these situations, we must weigh the consequences of our actions, consider our values, and make the best decision we can, even if it is unpopular or painful. Imagine a doctor who must decide whether to continue life support for a terminally ill patient. They must consider the patient's wishes, their family's desires, and their own ethical obligations. There is no easy answer, and the decision will likely cause pain and suffering for everyone involved. Or consider a business owner who must decide whether to lay off employees to save their company from bankruptcy. They must weigh the impact of their decision on their employees' lives against the potential loss of the company and the jobs of all their remaining employees. Scarlett O'Hara's resilience is a powerful force, but it is also a cautionary tale. Her unwavering focus on her goals, her adaptability, and her willingness to make difficult choices allow her to survive and even thrive in the face of adversity. However, her selfishness, her ruthlessness, and her inability to connect with others ultimately leave her feeling empty and alone. Gone with the Wind doesn't just celebrate resilience, it compels us to question the cost of survival and the importance of balancing our ambition with compassion and empathy. Now, let's expand on this theme of resilience and explore some common behaviors and misconceptions that can hinder our own ability to bounce back from adversity. One of the most common obstacles to resilience is living in the past. We often dwell on past mistakes, regrets, and traumas, allowing them to define our present and shape our future. We replay negative experiences in our minds, reliving the pain and preventing ourselves from moving forward. Consider someone who experienced a traumatic childhood. They may struggle to form healthy relationships, trust others, and feel safe in the world. They may carry the weight of their past with them, allowing it to color their perceptions and limit their potential. The same is true for someone who has experienced a significant loss, such as the death of a loved one or the end of a marriage. They may struggle to let go of the past, clinging to memories and refusing to embrace the possibility of a new future. This tendency to dwell on the past can be incredibly debilitating, preventing us from fully engaging with the present and building a brighter future. As the philosopher Soren Kierkegaard wisely stated, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. While it's important to learn from our past experiences, we must also be willing to let go of what we cannot change and focus on creating the life we want to live in the present. Another common obstacle to resilience is fearing failure. We often avoid taking risks or pursuing our dreams because we are afraid of failing. We worry about what others will think of us, about the potential for embarrassment or disappointment. Consider someone who dreams of starting their own business but is afraid to take the leap. They worry about losing their savings, failing to attract customers, and being judged by their friends and family. They remain stuck in a dead-end job, never realizing their entrepreneurial potential. Or think of someone who wants to pursue a creative passion, such as writing or painting, but is afraid to share their work with the world. They fear criticism, rejection, and the possibility that their work will not be well received. They keep their creations hidden away, never allowing themselves to experience the joy of sharing their talent with others. This fear of failure can be paralyzing, preventing us from taking the necessary steps to achieve our goals. As the motivational speaker Zig Ziglar famously said, "Failure is a detour, not a dead-end street." We must learn to embrace failure as a learning opportunity, a chance to grow and improve. A third significant hindrance to resilience is seeking validation from others. We often base our self-worth on the opinions of others, seeking their approval and validation. We worry about what others think of us, about whether we are good enough, smart enough, or successful enough. Consider someone who is constantly seeking approval on social media, posting photos and updates in the hopes of receiving likes and comments. They become obsessed with their online image, neglecting their real-life relationships and losing sight of their own values. Or think of someone who is constantly striving to please their parents, even if it means sacrificing their own dreams and desires. They may pursue a career that their parents approve of, even if it is not something they are passionate about. They prioritize their parents' expectations over their own happiness. This reliance on external validation can be incredibly damaging to our self-esteem and resilience. As the poet Rumi wrote, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." We must learn to find validation within ourselves, to recognize our own worth and value, regardless of what others may think. A fourth impediment to true resilience lies in neglecting self-care. In the relentless pursuit of goals and the face of adversity, we often forget to prioritize our own well-being. We sacrifice sleep, neglect our physical health, and ignore our emotional needs. Consider the overworked professional who consistently pulls all-nighters, skips meals, and neglects exercise. They may achieve short-term success, but they are ultimately burning themselves out, damaging their health, and undermining their long-term resilience. Or think of the caregiver who dedicates their life to caring for others, neglecting their own needs and desires. They may become resentful, exhausted, and emotionally depleted, unable to effectively care for themselves or others. This neglect of self-care can be incredibly detrimental to our ability to cope with stress and adversity. We must prioritize our physical, emotional, and mental well-being, making time for activities that nourish our bodies, minds, and souls. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Finally, many find their resilience hampered by rigid thinking and an inability to adapt. Holding tightly to preconceived notions and refusing to consider alternative perspectives can blind us to new opportunities and limit our ability to overcome challenges. Consider someone who is resistant to new technology, clinging to outdated methods, and refusing to learn new skills. They may struggle to adapt to the changing demands of the workplace, limiting their career prospects. Or think of someone who is unwilling to compromise in their relationships, insisting on having their own way and refusing to consider their partner's needs. They may struggle to maintain healthy relationships, leading to conflict and resentment. This rigidity can be a major obstacle to resilience. As the philosopher Lao Tzu wisely stated, "The oak is stiff and brittle, it breaks in the storm. The willow is flexible and bends, it survives." We must cultivate a flexible mindset, being open to new ideas and willing to adapt to changing circumstances. These common behaviors and misconceptions, living in the past, fearing failure, seeking validation from others, neglecting self-care, and rigid thinking, can all hinder our ability to bounce back from adversity and cultivate true resilience. But how can we apply the lessons from Gone with the Wind to overcome these challenges and build a more resilient life? What solutions can we glean from Scarlett's journey, while consciously avoiding her ethical missteps? The key, I believe, lies in cultivating a practice of mindful adaptation. This involves slowing down, paying attention to our thoughts and emotions, and consciously choosing how we respond to challenges. It's about embracing change, learning from our mistakes, and finding strength in our vulnerability. Instead of dwelling on the past, we can practice mindfulness and focus on the present moment. This involves paying attention to our breath, our senses, and our thoughts without judgment. By grounding ourselves in the present, we can break free from the grip of the past and create a new future. Instead of fearing failure, we can reframe it as a learning opportunity. We can embrace a growth mindset, believing that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. By viewing failure as a stepping stone to success, we can overcome our fear and take calculated risks. Instead of seeking validation from others, we can cultivate self-compassion. This involves treating ourselves with kindness, understanding, and acceptance, especially when we are struggling. By nurturing our own self-worth, we can break free from the need for external validation and build a stronger sense of inner resilience. Instead of neglecting self-care, we can prioritize our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. This involves making time for activities that nourish our bodies, minds, and souls, such as exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, or connecting with loved ones. By taking care of ourselves, we can build a stronger foundation for resilience. Instead of clinging to rigid thinking, we can cultivate openness and curiosity. This involves being willing to consider new ideas, perspectives, and possibilities. By embracing change and learning from others, we can adapt to new challenges and find creative solutions. Remember Scarlett's unwavering focus on Terra? We can adapt that to our own lives by identifying our own Terra, the core values, goals, or relationships that give our lives meaning and purpose. By focusing on what truly matters to us, we can build a stronger sense of resilience and navigate the challenges of life with greater clarity and determination. But unlike Scarlett, we should also be mindful of the impact of our actions on others, striving to achieve our goals with integrity and compassion. As the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "That which does not kill us makes us stronger." Adversity is an inevitable part of life, but it is also an opportunity for growth. By embracing the lessons of Gone with the Wind and cultivating a practice of mindful adaptation, we can build a more resilient life, one that is filled with meaning, purpose, and joy. Ultimately, resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about learning to navigate it with grace, courage, and compassion. It's about finding strength in our vulnerability, embracing change, and never giving up on our dreams. It's about recognizing that even in the darkest of times, hope remains. Soft, reflective music begins to play. So, as we draw our exploration of Gone with the Wind to a close, I encourage you to reflect on your own life and consider how you can cultivate greater resilience. What are your terras, the values and goals that give your life meaning and purpose? How can you practice mindful adaptation, embracing change, and learning from your mistakes? How can you nurture your own self-worth and build a stronger sense of inner resilience? Gone with the Wind is more than just a historical romance. It's a timeless story about the enduring power of the human spirit. It reminds us that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, we have the capacity to survive, to adapt, and to thrive. It challenges us to examine our own values and the choices we make in the face of adversity, and to strive for a life that is not only resilient, but also meaningful and compassionate. The key takeaway is to always find something to live for, something to believe in, and something to strive towards, even when the world around us seems to be crumbling. Remember, the wind may blow, but the roots of resilience run deep. If you found this exploration of Gone with the Wind insightful and inspiring, please share it with others who might benefit from its message. Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts on the book and the theme of resilience. What are some of the challenges you have faced in your life, and how have you overcome them? What practical steps can you take today to cultivate greater resilience in your own life? Perhaps try implementing one small idea from the book or this discussion and observe the impact. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. I'm truly grateful for your presence and your willingness to explore these profound questions together. Until next time, remember the words of Maya Angelou. You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. May your path be filled with resilience, wisdom, and joy. Music swells slightly and then fades out.